Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Michael Noland here, and tonight we're going to address the question, is physical media dead? Alright, so first of all, tonight's video is a previous video, but it is a video that my analytics tell me that 99% of my viewers have not seen. But you know, with some of the topics that we've been covering, this has got to be one of my most current videos I've ever filmed. You can pretty much tie this video in with my video Why Today's Music Sucks and my video on the Mofi lie. Now, the fact that this is a portion of a previous video that you haven't seen, be forewarned. At the time of shooting this video, I hadn't yet shed my pandemic beard. But if you can bear my bushy face, we cover a lot of topics that really need to be discussed, and I invite all of you to give your opinions in the comments section. After all, that's where this channel comes alive. What are your thoughts on analog versus digital? What are your thoughts on those who have gone totally digital? Consider subscribing to the tribe. All you have to do is hit that subscribe to the tribe button, then hit that top bell notification, and you'll be notified of all of my future videos. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video where I ask the question, is physical media dead? Now, when I was a young teenager, our media was pretty basic. If you were a reader, you read books, or you read magazines, or you read newspapers. As far as visual media, you had cameras that could take family photos, and of course, you could always go to the movies. And if you had a large group and not a lot of money, you want to talk about large screen TVs, we had these screens so large that cars would park in front of it. Everybody watching the movie from their own vehicle. Of course, radio had been around for a long time. My family didn't get a TV right away. My mother would read Tom Sawyer to me and my brother, and afterwards we would listen to episodes of The Shadow. Now, of course, these were reruns of The Shadow. I don't go that far back. And we finally got our TV. Black and white though it was the holy grail. On this amazing device, we had not one, not two, not three, not even four, but we had 5 channels. 5. In our area, that was KTVU out of Oakland, California, NBC, CBS, ABC, and of course, PBS. Hello, Big Bird. And of course, we had records. I had a small little record player that you could pull the top off. It'd play either 45s or 33s. It had a mono speaker, and I was grateful. Now, downstairs, my mother had what we called a hi-fi. Around this time, the media that I personally collected were record LPs, an occasional 45, not really big on 45s. I was an album guy. I had a transistor radio. Oh yes, gather around, children. There's more. I was also an avid collector of Hardy Boy mystery novels. Of course, over the years, comic book collections were sold. Hardy Boy books were given to children, but today is not yesterday. We've downsized as far as living space. Now, I spent the obligatory 5 years of paying for the storage for beloved stuff that I was obviously never going to bring back into my household. And I was always aware that technology would head in a direction like on Star Trek, where you could look at a computer screen or have a handheld device and get any amount of information or entertainment that you need. Now, I started buying digital media online around 2012 and just have it available on my phone. Of course, I could play it on my computer and even our television. I'm a big fan of movies in general, and I have bought the classics throughout Hollywood's decades. And for me, it's just so much easier to access my media this way than to go to a bookshelf. And frankly, it's just taking up space. We could use that space to put something else in that room. Now, for me, most of the time, I purchase my movies from iTunes. It's an app that works well with what I have, and I just love being able to dial up a movie. Now, over the years, I've bought a ton of movies. I have over 1,200 right now. But these movies are just as important to me as if I had their physical counterparts here in my home. But it's not just the movies that I've gotten rid of. I'm pretty hard on my novels. I read them hard. They get old, they get decrepit, and frankly, after me using them, they don't look very good after a few years. So this is where I've taken full advantage of the Books app on my iPad Pro. Let's take a look. Okay, so you caught me. I'm a comic book fan, but I'm also, as I've mentioned, a big science fiction fan. So here we are in my science fiction section. Big fan of the Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell series. And yes, I actually own the series. One of my top 4 novels of all time is Stranger in a Strange Land. I've got that here, as well as All You Zombies by Robert Heinlein. And yes, I do have the movie based on that novel, starring Ethan Hawke. What a great film. Of course, I have Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, as well as The Hobbit, and all of my favorite novels. Without going further into my collection here on iBooks, here you can see recent purchases where I keep up on manuals. I have a whole manual section. So this is just wonderful. Back in the day, my novels would be put where I could quietly read them. My manuals were usually put in an office or a studio. And yet here I am through iBooks able to access so much reading material, not to mention their audio books. As you know from my past video, I am a Beatles fan, and I cannot recommend highly enough Jeff Emmerich's book, Here, There, and Everywhere. I not only have the book, but I have it on audio. Now this finally leads us tonight to music. Whether I've collected vinyl, CD, digital copies of my music collection is very important to me. But a couple of years ago, I decided just to go ahead and signed up for iTunes on a monthly basis. I still have my core music that I can access at any time I want. Now, my whole family has signed up for this, and with our daughter being a major music fan, this is wonderful. She has a limited budget on what music she can purchase as well. But through the family plan, all of us can access the type of music we want. My wife loves the music from the late 60s, early 70s, pop. She just loves that. A lot of those songs are in her playlist. Our daughter has a very eclectic taste in music. And of course, I have my taste as well. So the service works very well for us. For a nominal fee, we pretty much have free access to any media that we want to use. You know, I just want to say one thing here. One of the movies that I grew up with was 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now, a lot of the technology in that film we had already surpassed by 2001, and some of it is just now coming to fruition. But just imagine where we are now. Here in the comfort of our own homes, we can access whatever movie, whatever television show. Is there still television out there, folks? Whatever books, magazines, news reports, podcasts, YouTube videos by the bottom line, at your fingertips at all times. Now, I know people out there who say, I'm a little bit more analog than that. And I can certainly understand that point of view. That's where I started. Very analog. Grooves in a piece of plastic, ink on a piece of paper, diodes on a screen, and with early computers, a 0 and a 1. And for me, the digital alternative just makes so much more sense at this point. So here's a question for all of you. How far has digital media invaded your life? Or have you welcomed it? Or are you one of those who are begrudgingly realizing that digital media is a viable alternative and actually quite Americana? Do you have other alternatives? Do you have a blend of alternatives? Again, that's what this channel's all about. Let us know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with me? Or are you one of those more analog people? Why do you still hold on to your old media? Is it the smell of a good book or the smell of vinyl when you first open it up and you know you're going to peruse the lyrics on the back? In the long run, I'm the question. You're the experts. Let us know.